What's going on, all you sports and gambling fans out there? Today we have some NCAA basketball betting coverage for you. And joining me here to help me out, Ross Benjamin, our SBR contributor. Now, we're not going to cover a particular game set. We're actually going to talk about what the East region is looking like. And Ross is going to actually provide us who he believes is going to be the winner for the regional final. Ross, as always, my man, a pleasure to have you here. How you doing today?
It's always a pleasure to be here with you, Dex. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Awesome stuff. All right, man. So what can you tell us about the East here? Who do you expect to win, and what can you tell us overall?
Well, this has by far been the most topsy-turvy region of them all. I mean, you look at what's transpired thus far, the two top seeds have gone down before the Sweet 16. The number one seed Villanova Wildcats fell 71-68 at the hands of North Carolina State on Saturday. And then on Sunday, number 7 seed Michigan State knocked off number 2 seed Virginia 60-54 in a game that wasn't nearly as competitive as the final score may indicate. Now let's start with Michigan State, Dex. You know, I don't know if they're going to win the national championship. I do know that Tom Izzo always finds a way to have his team peaking at the most critical part of the season, and this year is no different. The common denominator in all those occurrences, the Spartans just get it done on the defensive end of the floor. If you look at their first two performances in the tournament thus far and wins over Virginia and Georgia, they've held those two opponents to 31.6% shooting from the field. That's certainly a winning formula at this time of the year. And boy, oh boy, they're certainly drinking Tom Izzo's Kool-Aid right now because they're getting it done on the defensive end and they're playing fundamentally sound basketball. If you read my article prior to the tournament, they were my dark horse in the East region, and nothing they've done thus far really has changed my mind in that regard. Lon Kruger made NCAA tournament history by being the first head coach to lead 4 different schools to the Sweet 16 after his number 3 Oklahoma Sooners, at 3 seed, I should say, Oklahoma Sooners eventually wore down Dayton Flyers on Sunday in a 72-66 win. It must be noted, though, Dex, this was a Dayton team that was playing their 6th game in 10 days, and even by AAU standards, it would be considered to be a strenuous schedule. They opened the tournament on Friday with a workmanlike 69-60 win over number 14 seed Albany. Then we look at that dangerous dog of the group, the North Carolina State Wolfpack pulled off the shocker of the tournament thus far by knocking off Villanova on Saturday. With that win, they've now gone 5-1 in their last 6, and the only loss in that sequence came at the hands of Duke, who, by the way, is the number 1 seed in the South. Similar to Michigan State, this is a very good defensive team, and they've displayed that in their first 2 tournament wins, holding Villanova and Ole Miss to a combined 35.5% shooting from the field, and the Wolfpack have really taken care of the basketball. They've committed just a combined 16 turnovers so far in their 2 NCAA tournament wins. And then we look at a team that I feel is a mild surprise. I know that sounds crazy because they're the highest remaining seed in this group. The Louisville Cardinals come off a pretty impressive win over Northern Iowa, 66-53 yesterday, in a game which a lot of us, including myself, thought would be a closely contested contest, and I personally felt Northern Iowa would get the win in this circumstance. You know, this is a team that's pretty short on offense. They have their shortcomings in that regard, no pun intended. And despite the team most likely to be in the Final Four on paper of this group, I'd be very surprised if that indeed occurs. My final thoughts here, for all intents and purposes, you can make a case for any of these 4 teams to reach the Final Four, but I have to make choices, and this is what they are. I like North Carolina State and Michigan State to be in a regional final, a number 7 versus number 8 seed. And man, oh man, Dax, I'm sticking to my guns. I'm going to take Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans to reach the Final Four.
All right, man, definitely a lot of things going on. The madness is starting to dwindle down, at least on the games, but hell, I mean, there's a lot more to go with that. Anyways, Ross, thanks for all the insights, and we'll pick it up again tomorrow.
Thank you, Dex. I appreciate you having me.
All right, man. And everyone else, don't forget to check back with us tomorrow for some more sports coverage and your free picks. Till then, for SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.